Yo, yo, yo. Hey, so I just wanted to do an update on SPY, what I think is going on with SPY, kind of my expectations for like mid to long term, because I know a few days ago I did an update. We talked about some day trading on it, and then we did an update on kind of the long term outlook as far as where it stands, and obviously since then, Russia and Ukraine have Russia has officially declared war against Ukraine. Simba, leave my mouse alone. Russia has officially declared war against Ukraine, and which has essentially caused a rally, right? Because you had this giant dump in futures over the night of the 23rd into the morning of the 24th, down to about 410 for SPY is where being on the phone with Astro, and I was telling him, if you guys aren't familiar with Astro, just search Astro AMC, Astro, that guy on YouTube. I remember telling him, hey, I mean, in pre-market it looks pretty bullish. I didn't think that it looked quite this bullish, where now we've rallied upwards of 27 points, so all the way up to 437 from 410. But I was saying, you were going to see some sort of rebound, which makes sense. You have the certainty in the market, generally speaking. And I was just watching Trades live stream where he's talking about the certainty versus uncertainty, which is true. When there's certainty in the market, essentially it makes it easier to kind of carry on and go, okay, well, the market can still go up, even considering all of these certain things. It's the uncertainty that drags the price down. But from a technical perspective, I just want to talk about a few of the things going on and talk about whether or not we think that this is possibly a bull trap or if we see upside continuation. I think that it's a relatively difficult thing to be predicting right now from a technical perspective, because you have to see a few things happen. Because from a fundamental basis, if we're just looking at these EMAs, okay, the orange one is a 21 EMA, the purple is the 50 EMA, and the red is the 200 EMA. We're still below the 200 EMA here on the daily chart, which is sitting at 439. I would expect, now that we're up here, that at some point we will see some sort of test of this 200 EMA at some point, and it could be at a lower level by the time we test it, but I do expect that to happen. Now let me take the EMAs off the screen for a second, and let's talk about Fibonacci. So I don't want to use Fibonacci just yet from the COVID collapse bottom if we're using Fibonacci retracement. And the reason is because we're not really at the point to where we're going to say that we're going sub 400 at this point. Not right now, because there are a few things that have to happen. What I would rather do is use a few double bottoms, right? So, for example, back here in October to November of 2020, you have a double bottom. We'll start the fib retracement from there and go to our all-time high. So what you saw here was a pretty good bounce off of the 382 Fibonacci level at $412. You went sub it for a second, but ultimately you held this. And you'll see that this also was a relevant line of support previously. You broke below it a couple times for a double bottom here before you ultimately held the support for another price rally. And right now what you're doing is you're approaching the 236 Fibonacci, or at least now you've broken it but been rejected by it in the short term. But obviously this is just one day. You could still break above it, but this has been a point of rejection thus far. You can see here that in the previous rally that SPY had, when it went up and you had this bull trap occur here near 460, you bounced here, and then ultimately once you broke below here, it was the ultimate rejection point before you went down to this 410 region. Okay, so this is going to be a key level for us to be watching. I would expect that if you do break above this and then hold it as support, you could see continuation higher than 460. And then once we get there, you're probably going to be looking for, okay, well then do we end up holding, right, this key rejection point here at 460 as support? If you want to see new all-time highs. That's kind of how I'm seeing SPY at the moment when it comes to a levels perspective. We can look at other Fibonacci's as well. So that was the October region double bottom. You had another one here in February of 2021. Take a look. Yeah, I mean, you can see here that this 410 level was the golden pocket from that February double pop bottom. And then now what you're doing is you're kind of tussling with the 382 Fibonacci. You could have a run up here to the 452 before another rejection, this 236 Fibonacci. But yeah, definitely an interesting spot the SPY is in when you look at this fib. Let's zoom in a little bit closer here and look at May of 2021. You had a double bottom type move. Sorry if you got that notification. This was an 885 retracement. So you can see that this 410 level in retrospect, and look, honestly, I didn't see this this coming in this sort of explosive fashion. But in retrospect, this was a pretty key level for SPY to be holding. And I'm not saying that there is not necessarily a scenario where you will see continuation to the downside. I certainly think that that's possible. Really what you're going to be watching is initially, what is the reaction here to the 200-day EMA, in my opinion, which again is sitting at 439.45. So that's what we're going to be watching. For the most part, the past couple days, I've been on the sidelines kind of watching, just because I wanted to try and, I mean, honestly, I was looking for the bearish scenario, and since it's been pumping like this, I just kind of wanted to stay out of the way. For the most part, I did run a strangle yesterday going into the Biden speech. I'll probably just be looking for strangle opportunities on the shorter term basis when it comes to, you know, big events. Whenever there are speeches coming up and stuff, I'm probably just going to be playing strangles like that, because the market is being so explosive right now and so reactive to all these moments that that seems like the best risk to reward as it stands, in my opinion. So that's pretty much my take on it. As it comes out here, I do still think that this looks mostly like a distribution. And at some point, I do believe that SPY will come back and revisit like $360 ish. And again, that would be based off of this Fibonacci. But if we create new highs, it does change my perspective on that. But I do think that you come back down and you visit this this macro 382 at some point, and this $400 level, which you also do have a gap here, which I do think, you know, that was one of the things that was making me kind of reluctant to go bullish, just because you had this gap that you were so close to that you could get pushed down to before you have continuation to the upside as well. So that's pretty much the update. Markets in general indecision. So this is a pretty indecisive video, if I'm being honest, which is fine. You don't always have to have like a 100% certainty in what's going to happen. I do think that there will be a bearish reaction to this giant pump that's been going on here, at least to come and retest this like 425-ish kind of zone here. You know, come test these lows here one more time, at least before you're going to be able to really have a rally back up. So I wouldn't go full bear until you broke down below this 425 after a rejection of the 200 EMA at this point. Until then, I'm pretty indecisive. You do see here too that the 21 EMA is coming close to the that 200. Once that 50 EMA crosses below the 200, then you're in for, you know, a pretty bearish time, more bearish than what you've seen so far. So that would probably be the scenario that brings us down to the 350 whenever that happens. So that's pretty much the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Drop a like on the video. It helps the channel out a lot. Make sure you comment on the video. Let me know your thoughts. If you think I'm completely wrong, you can say that. If you agree with my sentiment, you can say that. And I have a Discord down below, completely free to join. There are no paid versions of the Discord, so you can join there. People are sharing charts. We've got a cool community that goes on over there, so make sure you join that. And until next time, peace.